Oh, hello, I didn't see you there. Welcome back to my channel. Second video already, can you believe it? Today I would like to talk about something which I'm very passionate about, which is makeup. I just want to talk a little bit about feeling good about yourself, and I'm going to do that via talking about makeup. One of my favourite things to do when I'm doing my makeup is my eyes, my eye makeup. I think it's probably the first thing I remember doing with makeup. I remember playing with a black kohl eyeliner pencil and going, this is a vibe, I really like this, and then kind of advancing things from there. So it is something which I have a really positive memory of. Essentially, I think that something that's quite common, I feel like I've observed, and particularly because of the internet, is obviously there are a lot of people doing tutorials, there are a lot of people doing styles and tips and fashions, but I think what's actually quite an important thing to remember is that there are things that will work for you that don't work for other people, and there are things that work for other people that don't work for you. So being interested in trends and being involved in things changing and styles and fashions is all very well, but it might be that you actually enter the world of makeup, or you start finding your kind of personal style during a time in which there's a trend which doesn't work for you. So I am in my late 20s, and when I was a teenager, the big thing growing up was emo, the emo trend, which was like everything black, Converse, stripy, thin, weird, like scarves, spikes in your ears. I had a spike in my ear, it was very cool, big pink one. I felt so cool. And one of the cool things about emo is that a lot of it revolved around black eyeliner, so that was actually kind of what drove me to find an interest in eyeliner, and then that kind of stayed. I didn't stick with emo, but I did stick with a black eyeliner. Now I would say it's a trend for younger people, for the teens, the youth, to have a bit more of a natural look, a bit more of a minimal look. It's definitely trendy to have very like high quality good makeup, because we see so much of it online, we see all this amazing stuff out there, and that can, I think, make you feel pressured to be like, well, I need to look perfect and flawless every day, and my makeup needs to be amazing, and I need to be really good at it. But actually, people have a lot of different skills, and, you know, everyone doesn't need to be good at the same thing. And similarly, not everyone needs to have the same look. I would say when it comes to feeling good and wearing makeup, I personally think it's so much more powerful to find something that works really well for you than it is to follow a trend or to try and copy what anyone else is doing. I know that's really cliche to be like, you should stand in your truth and just be yourself. But it is true. I think it's really important to find something that looks good for you, that you like, that you feel comfortable doing. And there's always this word flattering, which I'm kind of cautious of, because I think it can sometimes be used to be a bit fat phobic, and also sort of it's then more about looking appealing and looking attractive than it is about feeling good about yourself. But if it's something that suits your style, if it's something that suits your aesthetic, that suits your face shape, all these kinds of things, then that can make you feel like it suits you and that you feel good at it and you feel comfortable. And that's kind of my whole thing, which is do what makes you feel comfortable. A good thing about tutorials, trends, and all the millions of TikTok videos and so on and so forth is that it can encourage you to experiment and play and find things that work for you. I think a good thing to do if you are getting interested in makeup is to try stuff out in your own room, in your bedroom, you know, in the middle of the night or whatever it is, whatever time it is that you need a safe space to feel like you can play and experiment. But try things out, and then if you find something that works for you, then you can trial it to the world. That's definitely something that I have done a lot in my many years on the planet, is just keep playing with things. To be honest, my makeup has always looked way better when it's just me putting it on in my bedroom than it usually does outside the house. I think it's really important to be yourself, be true to who you are, and, you know, don't let anyone tell you what you should be and all this kind of thing in so many elements of life, and I think this is one of them. My mission is really to help people find ways to feel better about themselves. It's certainly not something which I'm perfect at. It's definitely not something which I'm perfect at, but I do think that I have a lot to offer the world in terms of just being a bit kinder to ourselves, being a bit kinder to others, but also really finding who we are and connecting with who we want to be outside of what society expects from us and what trends expect from us and the pressures that we feel from other people. I'm also so tired of the ways that society try to rein us in and make us all the same and make us feel like we have to conform to specific ideals or standards or aesthetics or whatever to just operate in our life and feel comfortable, and I'm just not okay with it. And so I want to do whatever tiny thing that I can possibly do to make that better and make us all feel good about ourselves and happy and comfortable with who we are and what we're doing. So yeah, that's the kind of vision. Now let's talk about the specifics. Now, I'm not going to go into huge amounts of detail here in terms of like tutorials or anything, but what I do want to do is just give you a few tips in terms of things that you can do to accentuate and find your look, and things that you can try out. So it's more just sort of things to think about rather than any specifics. So the first thing is colour. With colours, I love playing. I probably wear like a different colour on my eyes basically every day. I'm not a huge fan of like, oh, you should find, you know, what season you are or what your colour palette is and then stick with that. I think there is value in that, but I also think that you should have fun and play and, you know, do what you want. I'm worried that I've come here to like give you tips and ideas, instructions, and then it's mostly just going to be me saying you should do whatever you want. So let me try and say something useful. I would encourage you to get a palette which has a good range of colours. This is a little bit of a higher end one. It's the Haus Laboratories Glam Room #1 palette. But what I absolutely love about this palette is it's a really nice range of colours there. I've got a good like mix up. I've got a black, I've got a darker, I've got, you know, all sorts of things. So this is a good one for me. You don't have to do anything wild and crazy. You don't have to immediately go out and get like, you know, a million amazing brightly coloured palettes. Just get one really good one that you know you can rely on, that you really like. Now going back to colours, something that I always try and do is think about how the colours are going to blend together and how they're going to work on my skin. And a really good basic tip is basically just start with lighter on the inside and then darker on the outside. And that's it, because what you can then do is you can blend that into a shape and it will give you a gradient. And if you have a gradient, that will look like you've tried. I have a mix of brushes that I like to use, but really, again, you can kind of buy like 3 or 4 and rely on them. You don't need a huge range of brushes to create something quite cool. You just need to wash the ones you have more regularly, I guess. So this kind of really light colour here, this is what I like to put just on the inside of my eyes, just really sweep it across the lid. For me, it works really well to just stick colour on there kind of without thinking about it too much, because I have quite a lot of space to do that with on my eye. But if you do find that you need to be more particular, just try using a smaller brush. If you're using a colour that's fairly similar to your skin tone, then you're quite safe because it's not going to suddenly look really dramatic, you know. So this is a good sort of thing to start with. If you even just want to practice like blending and putting shadow on more, this is also quite a good thing to do. And also, if you have your mirror pointing like angled downwards, then you can be looking down into your mirror so you can see what you're doing at the same time as you're doing it. So as I said, I've got my lighter colour on the inside here, and then I'm going to take my darker colour and just go on the outside. So I'm just going to take this very, very slightly darker colour here, which is still kind of like, it's, you know, a good colour match for me in terms of a darker one, and I'm just going to go into the corner like that, really soft and gentle, and you'll see it's not too drastically different, so I can sweep it on there without it being much of a big deal, really. You can sometimes get a little bit of fallout, which is when you get this sort of stuff down here. If you get a bigger brush and just sweep that away, then that will sort that out. Don't use a makeup wipe, because if you do, then your skin will get wet and sticky, and then if you get more fallout, it will just smudge and it's a disaster. So yeah, just keep it dry and use a brush. Now you'll see, because I've got those two colours together, what I can then do is just combine them nicely. It can be quite nice with your eyes to do almost like follow the shape of, I guess it's the hood of your eye, so the bit where your kind of eye socket goes in. Just follow that like a little half rainbow semicircle situation like that. Now that's just really subtle, really easy. It's given me something different, it's given me some colour, it's given me a bit more shape, and yeah, I think, you know, it looks think it looks quite nice if I do say so myself. Do the other side as well. If you want to go fancier, just accentuate that. So I can take another darker colour here, but just right on the outside, take that darker colour again. So I'm just increasing that gradient a tiny bit more. Same here. There we go. I can take another lighter colour. So this is a really nice light sort of sheen. It's a sort of satiny sheen, which is really lovely. And then just put that right in the corner. Light, medium, dark, darker, and then that's it. Super simple. So that's eyeshadow. Nice and basic. Sweep it on. Looks like you've tried, looks like you've done something. And that's a great way to get started, and you can just build it up and play and have more fun with it from there. So on to the next thing, which is eyeliner. I have loads of different eyeliners. I just have a bit of a thing about it, and I end up buying quite a lot. These are my current favourites, and you guessed it, it's my favourite brand again. It's Haus Laboratories. However, I do have another liquid eyeliner which I really like, which is the Charlotte Tilbury one. In terms of a cheaper one that I've used that I really like, what's it called? Soap and Glory? Is that what it's called? Yeah, Soap and Glory Super Cat. That one's really good. I think the thing with these is that they can dry out. So if you do get one which is a bit of a lower price point, then it will not last you as long. If you do like wearing winged eyeliner and you want to wear it a lot, then it can be worth investing. So there are a few different kinds of liquid eyeliner, and what I mean by that is how they look when you put them on your skin. You have things like matte, shiny, and sort of more satiny. So that's how much reflection, how much shine you get when you're using it. I like a nice matte black, just thick line, like I've gone in there with like a barrel fine liner and just, that's what I like personally. I do also think that you can have liquid eyeliners which are more forgiving than others. You'll notice that mine are all the kind of pen types, like they're all this kind. I have used ones where it's a pot and you have a little brush. I personally don't get on with those as well as I get on with these, and I think part of the reason is because with these you can store them upside down so that all of the liquid goes to the nib. I find that they usually work best on the top of my eye, personally, on my eyelid. Getting caught up in my hair here. And then on the bottom it would be a black kohl pencil. Again, this is the Haus Laboratories one, but I do have a few because I love eyeliner. So I find this works best in the bottom. Sometimes if I want to do a smokier eye and I want to do something which is a little bit less sharp and defined, I'll do a bit on the top as well. And then this is really, I would say, where thinking about the shape of your eye comes into play. As in, how much do you use? What shape do you do? How long is it going to go? Do you use this all round? Do you blend it out? All these kinds of things. So you can just try that and find what works for you. I like to try and elongate my eyes out as much as I can. Like my eyes are quite sort of, I guess, round, it feels like. So I like to bring them out and sweep them out. And I also just love doing like a cat eye because I'm a massive Lady Gaga stan. So I will often start with the pencil and I'll start underneath because that helps me to find the shape that I can then match with the top, because this is a lot easier to correct than liquid eyeliner because you can just smudge it or take it off a lot more easily. I usually draw up to halfway. So I'll kind of go from here to here and stop in the middle. I find that if I go all the way, it looks a bit heavier than I want it to, unless I'm feeling like a really kind of vampy moment and I want to go for it. But if I just want to do kind of generic, standard Emma makeup, that's what I'll do. I'll go halfway into the middle. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to have to stop talking because otherwise I will poke myself in the eye. So the good news is that mistakes are a part of life. Pencils have erasers for a reason, and this is all fine. So this has worked out quite well actually, because I have made a little bit of a mistake, so now I can show you how to correct mistakes, which is handy. We can correct this for sure. Just do tiny side to side movements. You might find it's easier if you close your eye a tiny bit, like this. Here I can just start to wing it out from the bottom, and then I have a little cotton pad and I'm just going to fold it in half and then just... So it's just lightened it a bit so that I feel a bit more in control and like this is what I intended. Now I've given myself a really nice guide to do my liquid eyeliner, like it's almost saying, yeah, this is where it's going to go, which means I then feel a bit more confident going in with my liquid eyeliner. Now this is the tricky part, but it's so good when you get it right. My biggest tip when doing liquid eyeliner, 100%, Start small and get bigger. Don't just go in straight away with what you want and think, yeah, this is fine, because inevitably you'll do it perfectly in one eye and then the other eye won't match, and then you'll have to do this one bigger and then this one bigger, and then they'll get bigger and bigger and bigger. Another thing to think about is, similarly to the bottom of your eye, is where you actually start your line. So I'm going to say that I definitely want to do at least halfway to here. So that's the bit that I'm going to do first, because I know that's a thing. Another thing is, don't be afraid of the liquid eyeliner. Remember, it's more afraid of you than you are of it. Yeah, wait, there we go. So that's kind of, it's very small, but it's okay, and it's happy, and it works, and I'm fine with it, and we're not crying, and everything's good. Just halfway. A little bit of a point. There we go. Fine. So I actually would like more. So now what I can do is I can build upon what I've already done. And what I would say is then fill in this half before going out, because it's really easy to go too big here and then end up sort of trailing off into a massive thing. So again, looking down, use the length of the pen. But what you might get is, like you might see it there, it's almost like a kind of scuff. So just be aware of that. Again, something to look out for. Switch my pen over, close my eye, and just join it up. Look at that, nailed it. So on to the final thing. I personally tend to just kind of use black mascara. This is a NARS one that I really like. A good technique that I find with mascara is always just look down, because it means that if you're doing your top lashes, your eyes are away from your skin, so you're not going to get that really annoying thing where it kind of goes up above. And just be quite gentle. There's also like the little zigzag movement that people often talk about, which is when you do that and sort of scrub it like a toothbrush. And then with the bottom lash, I look up and just do a little scrubby scrub like that. As I said at the start, it's really about finding what works for you and what feels comfortable for you. For me, wearing lots of makeup makes me feel good. It makes me feel like myself. It makes me feel comfortable. It's also such a nice routine in the morning for me to have. Putting on my makeup is a really important part of my day because it's time for me. Also, if you're the sort of person that society doesn't expect to be wearing makeup, for example, if you don't identify as female and our society codes makeup as a feminine thing, I would say like starting small and finding your feet with those little steps, like subtle colours and just small gentle movements, can be a really good way to sort of ease yourself into feeling more comfortable. Or if you're just, if you're young, you're a young teenager or something like that, and you're playing with it for the first time and you don't want to do anything too bold or risque, then yeah, just be gentle with yourself and be gentle with your techniques and just have fun with it in your own time, because it's such a wonderful thing, and I am such a big fan, and I want everyone to be able to do it, and I wish everyone wore makeup and we all had fun with colours. Just know that if you're out there and you are feeling insecure and you're feeling unconfident and you're feeling like it's something that you want to do better but you don't feel like you're good enough, I'm just here to say yes you are, and give you permission to enjoy it and have fun with it, that even if society thinks that it's something that you shouldn't. Makeup is for everyone, and we all deserve to feel good about ourselves. Anyway, like I said, there's some really tiny little basic things with eye makeup that I hope will help someone out there feel more in control and confident, and will inspire you to have a bit of a play. I hope that's been helpful. Please share this video if you've enjoyed it. So yeah, I'll see you next time. I hope you have a lovely week, and go drink some water. Yes.